positions trades and get this thing going the way it should be. Such a disappointment that we are still here. Caitlin deserves better. Folks and fans, they're getting aggravated. I don't know if you noticed, that preseason game, I get it, it's preseason, but Paige was in town, AZ Fudd was.
Your franchise player just dropped 21 points on 66% shooting, and you still lost by 15. At home, in front of your own fans. And instead of addressing the disaster unfolding right in front of everyone, the Indiana Fever front office woke up the next morning, fired up their laptop, and let an AI chatbot write their response to the whole situation. The comment section that followed was not just negative, it was a full-scale revolt. Fans who have been loyally defending this organization through every questionable decision, every confusing roster move, and every tone-deaf press conference finally snapped. And honestly, you cannot blame them. Because what happened over the last 48 hours was not just a bad preseason loss followed by a bad social media post. It was a complete exposure of everything that is broken inside this organization right now. The roster problems, the communication failures, the disconnection between what the front office believes and what the fans are actually watching on the court. 8 days until opening night. 3 key players injured, a fan base running on empty, and a front office that responded to all of it with corporate word salad. This is where we break it all down.
Tiffany White show, what the F was this game even? No plan, no defense, no schemes, full brick fest. If you guys want an in-depth breakdown of the game, of some things that need to get corrected and fixed ASAP, go watch Venom Reacts. Go watch Venom Reacts. He put out a
Thursday night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse was supposed to be a statement game, a chance for the Indiana Fever to show their home fans that the off-season moves paid off, that the roster was ready, and that this team was genuinely built to compete. Instead, what unfolded was one of the most alarming performances this franchise has put together in recent memory. And the most disturbing part of it was not even the final score. The Fever lost 95-80 to the Dallas Wings, 15 points, at home, in a preseason game that was supposed to be a confidence builder. But strip away the final score for a second and look at what actually happened inside that building, because the numbers tell a story that is genuinely hard to ignore. Caitlin Clark was absolutely electric. She came out firing, finished with 21 points on incredibly efficient shooting, and looked every bit like the player that has completely transformed this franchise's national profile. She was making the right reads, hitting her shots, and controlling the pace of the game the way only she can. And then it happened. A flagrant foul, a massive hit. Clark grabbed her kneecap and walked to the bench, and she did not come back for the entire second half. The moment she left that floor, everything collapsed. The rest of the roster shot a combined 20 of 54 from the field. Kelsey Mitchell, the player the Fever are paying $1.4 million on a Supermax contract, finished a brutal -18 and shot 4 of 12. Sophie Cunningham did not score a single point. The defense, the thing this coaching staff has built its entire identity around, gave up a staggering 36 points in the second quarter alone. 36 points in one quarter, against a Dallas Wings team that is not exactly the Golden State Warriors. And here's the detail that makes all of this significantly more alarming. 3 key starters are currently injured. This was not the full roster. This was a short-handed, patchwork lineup trying to hold things together. And they could not do it the moment their best player went to the bench. 8 days from opening night, and the questions are piling up faster than the front office can ignore them.
Gonna trade any of the new signees, right? Let's take a look at some of this reaction, because they're getting crushed. Fans are not happy with the performance that they saw yesterday. Preseason, not preseason, it only confirms that we're too small. Why are we getting all these? It only confirms that complaint of all offseason. The Fever front office need to make some cuts and trades expeditiously. That was painful to watch. I hope CC is not re-injured.
A competent professional sports organization knows exactly what to do after a performance like that. You address the elephant in the room. You provide a transparent medical update on your franchise player after she grabbed her kneecap and left the game. You acknowledge that the team has real work to do. You show the fan base that the people running this organization are paying attention and taking the situation seriously. That is the bare minimum. That is basic crisis communication. The Indiana Fever did none of that. Instead, the very next morning, their social media team posted a lengthy promotional essay about the upcoming season, and it read exactly like what it almost certainly was. A block of text fed into an AI chatbot and copy-pasted directly onto the team's official account, without a single human being stopping to think about whether this was the right moment to publish it. The post talked about the roster being loaded. It talked about championship expectations. It gushed about the fans being the best in the entire WNBA. It was relentlessly positive, completely hollow, and had absolutely zero connection to the reality that those same fans had watched unfold on the court 12 hours earlier. Pure corporate word salad served ice cold the morning after a 15-point home loss. The comment section became a massacre almost immediately. Fans were not interested in hype, they were furious. One of the top comments read, "Sign a backup center or trade for Brink." Another fan wrote directly, "You just lost by 15 at home and you are posting this nonsense." A third told the team bluntly to stop the AI posts and start making real moves. But the comment that ratioed the team's own account, the one that collected the most likes on the entire post, was just 8 words. 8 words that should make every single person in that front office deeply uncomfortable. This franchise sucks so bad. The engagement numbers on that post were enormous, but every single bit of it was negative. The Fever accidentally created a viral moment, just not the kind any organization ever wants.
Hot shots at the rim like Cam Brink. It would help us rebounding-wise to have another big next to AB to help clean up the glass. Cameron Brink running the floor with a pass from CC. Ooh, I like to see that.
Buried inside that avalanche of angry comments was one demand that kept appearing over and over again, louder and more insistent than anything else in the thread. Go get Cameron Brink. Trade for Cameron Brink. The Fever need Cameron Brink. And on the surface, once you understand who Cameron Brink actually is and what she brings to a basketball court, the obsession makes complete sense. Brink is a 6'4" power forward and center currently playing for the Los Angeles Sparks. She was the number 2 overall pick in the 2024 draft, taken right after Caitlin Clark herself. She tore her ACL during her rookie season, went through an incredibly grueling rehabilitation process, came back in 2025, and immediately reminded everyone exactly why she was considered a consensus top pick coming out of Stanford. The talent was never the question, the health was. And now that the health question appears answered, what you are looking at is one of the most genuinely terrifying two-way frontcourt players in this entire league. She blocks shots at an elite rate. She rebounds relentlessly and with physicality. She is developing a legitimate three-point shot that forces opposing defenses to respect her from distance. And she runs the floor in transition in a way that would fit perfectly alongside Caitlin Clark's fast-paced, push-the-tempo style of play. Now look at what the Fever currently have behind Aaliyah Boston, and the fit becomes even more obvious. Aaliyah Boston has missed both preseason games with a lower leg issue. Without her anchoring the paint, the Fever trotted out Monique Billings, who went 1 of 5 for 2 points against Dallas, and Michaela Timpson, a rookie who has played exactly 2 professional games in her entire career. Damaris Dantas shot 2 of 11 from the field. The frontcourt depth is not thin, it is nearly non-existent. And a Clark and Brink pick and roll would be a tactical nightmare that no defense in this league is currently equipped to stop. Here is where the fantasy ends and the cold, hard reality begins. Because as perfectly as Cameron Brink fits the Indiana Fever's needs on paper, and she genuinely does fit them perfectly, the actual probability of this trade happening before opening night sits somewhere between extremely unlikely and completely impossible. And the reasons why tell you almost everything you need to know about the decisions this front office has already made. Start with the Sparks. Los Angeles is not trading Cameron Brink. Full stop. She is 23 years old. She is a former number 2 overall pick. She is the cornerstone that the entire franchise rebuild in Los Angeles is being constructed around. The Sparks have zero competitive incentive to move her unless an incoming package is so historically staggering that it would reshape their entire future. We are talking multiple future first-round draft picks. We are talking a promising young player included alongside those picks. It would have to be the kind of offer that makes the Sparks front office look at each other and genuinely debate whether rebuilding around a collection of future assets makes more sense than rebuilding around Brink herself. And the Indiana Fever simply do not have that ammunition. Why? Because the front office already spent their first-round pick this year on Raven Johnson, a guard. They built a roster that is dramatically top-heavy with perimeter players and chronically thin in the front court. They committed enormous cap space to veteran guards, while the paint remained dangerously unaddressed behind Boston. The fans demanding this trade are not wrong to want it. The frustration driving that demand is completely legitimate. But the trade itself is not happening. Not now. Not in 8 days. What could realistically happen, and what should already be happening, is a search for a veteran center on the free agent market. Someone who can give the Fever 15 competent, physical minutes a night when Boston needs rest. That is not a fantasy. That is a basic requirement for a functioning roster. The AI post was embarrassing, but it would be a mistake to treat it as an isolated incident, a one-time social media fumble from a team under pressure. Because when you zoom out and look at the pattern of how this organization has communicated with its fan base over the last several months, what you see is not a series of individual mistakes. What you see is a systemic, deeply rooted communication problem that keeps producing the same result every single time. Controversy, backlash, and a fan base that feels increasingly disrespected. Walk through the track record. Head coach Stephanie White made controversial comments about Caitlin Clark playing off the ball that immediately set the internet on fire. Kelly Krossoff followed that up with bizarre comments about adjusting that nobody could quite decode. Lynn Dunn went on record and publicly called the fans complainers, which went over exactly as well as you would expect with a fan base that has shown up with extraordinary loyalty and passion. Amber Cox added to the confusion with puzzling combo guard comments that left more questions than answers. And now, capping off this entire string of communication disasters, an AI-generated promotional essay posted the morning after a humiliating 15-point home loss. Every single time this organization opens its mouth in a public forum, something goes wrong. That is not bad luck. That is a pattern. What the fans actually needed in that moment was simple and specific. They needed a transparent medical update on Caitlin Clark's kneecap after that frightening flagrant foul. They needed a concrete return timeline for Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull. And they needed a straightforward, honest acknowledgement from the organization that the performance against Dallas was unacceptable and that real work was being done to fix it before the games actually count. 3 things. Instead, they got a machine-generated hype script that treated them like they had not just watched the box score with their own eyes. That is not a communication mistake. That is a trust problem. And trust, once it starts eroding, is extraordinarily difficult to rebuild. Stepping back from the communication disaster for a moment and looking purely at the basketball reality, the injury situation surrounding this roster right now deserves its own serious conversation. Because 3 key starters being unavailable 8 days before the regular season is not a minor inconvenience. It is a genuine structural crisis that compounds every other problem this team is already dealing with. Aaliyah Boston is the player this entire defensive system is built around. She anchors the paint, she communicates on the back line, she makes the rotations work. When she is on the floor, the Fever's defense has a foundational identity. When she is off it, as Thursday night made painfully clear, that identity disappears almost immediately. The lower leg issue keeping her out of both preseason games has not been given a clear public timeline by the organization, which is itself a problem. Fans have no idea whether she is a week away from full health or a genuine injury concern heading into the regular season. Lexi Hull is equally important, though for different reasons. Hull provides the floor spacing and perimeter energy that opens up driving lanes for Clark and creates the offensive flow this team needs to function at a high level. Without her, the spacing collapses and the defense can pack the paint without real consequences. And then there is the Clark situation itself. She took a serious hit. She grabbed her kneecap. She missed the entire second half. And the organization's public response to one of the most important medical questions in the entire league right now has been vague coach speak about managing reps and being smart. That is not good enough. Not with opening night, 8 days away. Not with a national television audience tuning in specifically to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. The fans deserve a clear, direct answer. Is she healthy? Is she ready? Yes or no? 8 days. That is what is left between the Indiana Fever and their regular season opener against the Dallas Wings on national television. 8 days to fix the communication, address the roster, and restore some level of confidence in a fan base that is currently operating somewhere between deep frustration and outright fury. And to be completely direct about it, 8 days is not a lot of time, but it is enough time to do the 4 things that actually matter right now. First, get Aaliyah Boston on the court for the Nigeria preseason game. It does not need to be a full game. It does not need to be 30 minutes of action. Even 10 minutes of Boston moving well, defending with physicality, and looking like herself would do an enormous amount to settle the nerves of a fan base that has been watching the front court fall apart without her. Show them she is healthy. Show them she is ready. Second, same logic applies to Lexi Hull. Get her on the floor. Let the spacing work. Let the offense breathe the way it is supposed to breathe when the full roster is actually available. Fans need to see the pieces working together before opening night. Third, release a definitive medical statement on Caitlin Clark. Not coach speak, not managing expectations language. A clear, direct statement that says she is 100% healthy and ready to go on May 9th. The fan base and the national audience deserve that clarity, and the franchise has a responsibility to provide it. And fourth, and this one is non-negotiable, stop posting AI-generated content that has no connection to reality. Talk to the fans like intelligent adults who watched the game and read the box score. Acknowledge the problems. Present real solutions. Let the basketball speak once the regular season starts. Because angry fans do not buy tickets. They do not stream games. They do not purchase merchandise. They go online and write 8-word sentences under your promotional posts that end up going viral for entirely the wrong reasons. Now, here is the thing about the Indiana Fever that makes all of this so genuinely frustrating to watch. This franchise has something that most organizations in professional sports would sacrifice almost anything to possess. They have a generational talent in Caitlin Clark, a player who has single-handedly elevated the visibility of the entire league to levels nobody thought were achievable this quickly. And they have a fan base that showed up with extraordinary passion and loyalty before this team had even earned it. A fan base that was ready to ride with this organization through the building process because they believed in where it was all heading. Those are gifts, rare, valuable, irreplaceable gifts. And right now, the front office is burning through the goodwill attached to both of them at an alarming rate. Not through one catastrophic decision, but through a slow, grinding accumulation of tone-deaf communication, questionable roster construction, and a consistent pattern of treating the fan base like they are not paying close enough attention to notice. The 8-day clock is not just about opening night. It is about whether this front office is capable of recognizing the moment they are in and rising to meet it. Because the window to get this right is real, but it is not unlimited. At some point, frustration becomes disillusionment, and disillusionment is a much harder thing to walk back than a bad preseason loss or a poorly timed social media post. The question worth sitting with is this: how many more chances does a front office get before the goodwill runs out completely? Stay locked with my channel Hook Reports for all basketball updates.